Greg, if anyone had any doubt that President Biden would be strong on China, I guess this language and other signs, like the fact that they had a senior Taiwan representative at the inauguration from the get-go, the message has been one of pushing back on China very strongly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kieran. So I've been reassured to some extent by Biden's words and those of his senior administration people. It's very early days. It's very, very early days. Clinton started this way. Obama started this way. He needs to maintain this for 4 years. But there's some worry about some of his appointments. I mean, they are low wattage figures. You know, Hillary Clinton and Colin Powell and so on, these were great global figures. Anthony Blinken and Jake Sullivan, they're not at that level. So how much horsepower do they have? Nonetheless, Biden has started out very, very well on China. It's calm, it's non-hysterical, but it's very clear and it's quite tough-minded. One critical decision was that they've continued the designation of genocide to cover China's activities in Xinjiang. The Economist this week rightly asks, well, you know, how do you deal with an administration you've accused of genocide? You start your conversation, well, apart from your genocide, we get on very well. But so that was a deliberate decision by the Biden administration. And, you know, they've appointed Kurt Campbell as their Asia czar, and Blinken is not very dominant, but he's much more centrist and hawkish than some of the people they might have appointed. Same with Jake Sullivan. So this is a good, solid beginning from Biden, and it's the most realistic thing. You're going to have a lot of competition between the US and China. It's going to be calm, but it's going to be clear-eyed, as long as the next 4 years follow the pattern of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, calm, clear-eyed. I guess also it's going to be more predictable for allies like Australia and more, what's the word, maybe multilateral in the way that they go about it. They'll be working with other countries more often than, say, the Trump approach, which was so erratic.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Kieran. So there's no doubt that Trump did some good things in relation to China, and he called them out. He recognised the threat and the challenge that they pose to America and to the international system much more explicitly than any leader before him. And odious as Trump's conduct has been since November 3, we have to recognise that reality. And he has prepared, in a sense, the politics of Biden's response. Not everything that Trump did was terrible, and the China stuff, a lot of it was good. The bad side of Trump's China policy, though, was, as you described, it was erratic and it was very unpredictable for allies. So Trump called China out for its unfair trade practices, but then he imposed ludicrous trade actions against South Korea. He was completely regardless of the value of alliances, talked about his desire to pull American troops out of South Korea, you know, had decided for no accountable reason to pull 12,000 troops out of Germany. 1 minute he was in favour of NATO, the next minute he was against it. So that was all extremely disruptive, very, very damaging. So Biden certainly is going to run as a more conventional president, and the American system, which is underlying everything, is very, very strong, will operate in a more conventional fashion.
Only got a minute left, but your thoughts on the McConnell-Trump spat that we've seen since the failed second impeachment hearing?
Well, I'm entirely in McConnell's corner here, and McConnell and the other Republicans have to win this. It was one thing to accommodate Trump when he was president, and a lot of what he was doing was quite good, and he was more disciplined, strange though that sounds, than he is now. Now he is purely a force for destruction. He is a monger of hatred and resentment and conspiracy theory, and the Republicans cannot hide in the shadows anymore. They have to beat Trump within the Republican Party. They don't necessarily have to demonise him altogether. They don't have to neglect to recognise the good things that he did. But nobody could call McConnell, you know, an ideologue or anything like that. But when he says Trump was practically and morally responsible for the assault on the Capitol, he is right. And the Republicans have to win their own party. They can't just hope that Trump goes away, because Trump is not going to just go away. They have to go out and win their own party. So I'd say McConnell looks uninspiring, but 3 cheers for McConnell, no cheers for Trump.
Greg Sheridan, thanks. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kieran.